What exactly does a CPA and a CPA firm do after tax season? Well, today on the Accounting for You podcast, we're going to be talking just about that. Welcome to the Accounting for You podcast, brought to you by the accounting firm of Adkins and Reynolds CPAs. This podcast is designed to provide relevant tax and accounting information to help you and your business succeed. If you enjoy listening in, please like and subscribe to our channel. Now, on to the show. All right, well, welcome back to the Accounting for You podcast. I am Chris Reynolds, CPA and partner with Adkins and Reynolds CPAs.
And I'm Jay Adkins, partner and CPA at Adkins and Reynolds CPAs.
Well, Jay, what are we talking about today?
We are talking about what does a CPA firm do once tax season is over? And I've had this question many times, and sometimes we don't realize people outside the profession might have a different view of what we do versus what we actually do. I think a lot of people think that, we do tax returns in tax season, like a lot of national firms might do. And then after that, they're really not sure what we do. They probably wonder, are you open full-time after tax season? Are you open every day of the week? And if so, what exactly do you do after the tax deadline? So there's a lot of different things we do, and a lot of what I'll talk about today is for our business clients, but there is some for the individual clients. With a lot of our bigger business clients, we will do financial statements, maybe on a quarterly basis, monthly basis. Financial statements basically a scorecard of how the business is doing throughout the year. Sometimes clients like to review these financial statements to see throughout the year how they're doing. We also prepare depreciation schedules and keep them throughout the year for the business clients. We also do businesses that are non-calendar year. So they may be a March year end, for example, that has a different tax year. So we're doing corporate tax returns throughout the year. Also with these businesses, we're going to have some that are going to be extended during tax season, and we're going to be doing those tax returns throughout the year instead of the normal, tax season time frame.
So let me stop you there. So CPA firms are open, number one.
Absolutely.
After tax season, where maybe your national tax prep firms are not. And so when we're open, we're doing financial statements for businesses.
Right.
We're taking care of fixed assets or depreciation and that kind of stuff. But so financial statements, what kind of financial statements are we talking about, and who's requiring the financial statements?
Well, sometimes they're just for the business themselves to keep up with what's happening. What's our revenue, what's our income, what's our bottom line. Other times, you're looking at businesses that maybe needs a loan and a bank's going to require a financial statement. Or if it's a business that is a franchise, maybe they have to give something to their national. So there's a lot of different reasons that businesses may need a financial statement.
Right. And then in our profession in providing financials, there's different levels of those services of what they might require or need in those types of instances, depending on what you're needing. Like if the bank needs a reviewed financial statement, right, or just a compiled statement, or there's audited financial statements. There's several, obviously, levels of those financial statements that we're providing to the client. And then you were talking about tax returns, because a lot of people maybe realize, maybe they don't realize that businesses maybe operate on a fiscal year, not a calendar year, right?
Right, exactly. And that means that they do not have the standard deadline for tax returns in tax season that the calendar years have. So they may have tax returns that are due throughout the year that are not the traditional tax season time.
Yeah, so what people don't realize with that is we have many tax seasons, mini tax seasons through the year with these fiscal year businesses, because if they end in June 30th, their tax returns are due maybe in September, depending on their entity. So you've got these offsetting times in the year where their tax returns are due. So we're obviously open to do all that kind of stuff.
Right. And as we've talked about in a previous podcast, we do a tremendous amount of payrolls. Virtually every day we're doing a payroll for someone. And that comes along with monthly taxes, quarterly taxes. As far as off of those payrolls, we have clients that we do monthly and quarterly sales tax for. That is something that happens throughout the year. It's not just a tax season thing.
Yeah, so we're looking at 2 or 3 deadlines a month that the
Yes.
CPA firm is dealing with and fighting against every month to deal with all these taxes to make sure your business is running the way you want it to be running.
Yes, we're definitely a business that is on a deadline at all times. Some bigger than others, but there are always deadlines every month and multiple deadlines each month.
Right. Yep.
So also, we're dealing with things like tax notices that may come in throughout the year, helping clients with those. There's always client questions and consultations about different things that's going on in their worlds that we are available for those. A lot of different things of, I may be looking to start another business. I may be looking to sell my business. Maybe it's just questions inside the business of, I've done this, where does this need to go on my general ledger? A lot of different things.
Right, and that gives us the ability to do like advisory type services through the year with the businesses of, if they're wanting help with their tax situation through the year, or if they're talking about selling their business, what is it, what does that look like for them? What tax ramifications they may have? So there's a lot of that going on there too.
Another big one that we've talked about previously is tax planning. We do a lot of tax planning in November, December, for clients that maybe have a simpler tax situation. Larger businesses and maybe ones that have more complex situations, it's probably better to do it multiple times throughout the year to make sure that they are aware of what's coming, good or bad.
Yep. Yeah, it's like Jay's saying, the more complex your tax situation is, the more often that you need the CPA to come in and make sure you're forecasting properly because, again, no one likes those big surprises come April 15th or whenever your tax due date is. So.
We don't like them either.
Yeah.
Some other things that we do, if clients may be struggling with budgeting, we can give some budgeting assistance and help with that, maybe to help out as far as their projected cash flow. Another big thing that we offer for some of the companies that need it is CFO services. We do that on different levels. I think we'll get into that in more detail on another podcast. But that's something that maybe someone has retired, someone has quit, business is struggling, the owner is either not capable or doesn't want to take that on. They really don't want to hire and pay someone full time because that can be very expensive. So they can bring us in for different levels of CFO services that may be very valuable to them.
Yep. Yeah, and we'll be talking about that in an upcoming podcast for sure.
Another thing we've talked about before, we'll talk about more, is bookkeeping assistance. Maybe the owner's too busy, doesn't want to do it, maybe doesn't feel like they have the ability to do it. We have varying levels there of bookkeeping assistance throughout the year, which helps clean up the books. We also can assist and advice on software if a business is starting or possibly one that's not happy with their current software and maybe looking for other options out there.
Yeah, and we're talking accounting software in that.
Yes.
Yeah, we're not outside of accounting software. Because different accounting software, there's several manufacturers out there, and especially if you're a DIY person on your bookkeeping, what maybe is the best software for your situation if you're wanting to handle it. That's where we're kind of coming in and helping you on that.
Other things that we do, seems like that there's on a pretty consistent basis, banks are needing information from clients. A lot of times clients either don't want to dig up tax returns, can't find tax returns. They turn to us to give information, or possibly there's other information different from a tax return that they need for a bank or another third party that we will assist in that. Advice on selling their business, buying a new business, starting a new business. We're always available for those services.
And it's important to remember, if you are buying or selling your business, talk to us before you sign a deal.
One of the worst conversations I ever have is someone to call and say, hey, I bought a business yesterday. I sold my business yesterday, and we weren't involved in the process because there's a big difference, as we've spoken in other podcasts, about entity selections or the structure of a purchase or a sale. It can have big tax ramifications.
Yeah, so if you sign the wrong deal and you come to us and go, I bought a business and this is how I bought it, and we look at it, we may be able to tell you, you've really kind of messed up here because you've bought something that you can't deduct, or you can't write off on the tax return, or different situations like that. So it's definitely something, prepare instead of repair on a situation like that.
Always better
Again,
to plan.
that's why we're here year round. So
Yes. And then other things, throughout the year, as we've talked about, people don't always start up businesses in tax season. So they're going to need our help with their entity selection, their setup, as we've previously talked about, with all the right authorities and everything on all their taxes, licenses, and all that. We're available for that all the time. So as you can see with businesses, there's a tremendous amount of things that are going on throughout the year that's not just a tax prep during tax season.
right, because we are not just a tax prep firm. We're a CPA firm, and we do a lot of things for businesses and individuals.
So there's a lot of things that we do for businesses outside of tax season. As I mentioned, we also want to touch on what we might do with individual clients, because a lot of people each year will file their tax return by the deadline, and it's over. They don't really give it a thought until the next tax season. But there are things that we do. For example, there's a number of clients that for various reasons, either client preference or for some other reason, they need an extension. So once they're extended past April, they have an automatic 6-month extension to file their tax returns. So anytime between April 15th and October 15th, we may be working on 1040s from the prior tax season as records become available and clients are ready. Individuals also receive tax notices during the year.
Yep.
Those don't just come in tax season. So we are available to deal with any of those all throughout the year. So there's things for individuals. And again, individual clients also need advice and want consulting during the year on various items that's going on in their lives. One thing that comes up a lot is, I've switched from a W-2 employee to a 1099 contract person. That changes the tax situation a lot. That may happen during the year, so then we have to plan as far as how is that going to change the tax situation. So
right, and then here's another example. I probably get 2 or 3 of these a year. We decided to pay off debt this year, and so we cashed out part of our retirement plan and didn't withhold taxes from the retirement plan cash out, and they don't exactly understand why they owe so much tax. And so again, a phone call to allow us to advise you on that kind of situation will help save a lot of stress, anxiety, and money later when the tax return is due.
I've had that call many times too. Please call us before you cash in the retirement plan, and we can tell you about what it will cost you in federal taxes, state taxes, and then if you're under the retirement age, also a penalty. So it would be better to know the consequences before the action to see if that's really what you want to do. So along with the businesses, we also do individual tax planning. A lot of that, like we mentioned before, has been done in November, December, but it can be done throughout the year if things change during the year. We certainly will want to talk about that and see if we can head off any potential problems there. We mentioned business financial statements for banks or whatever they need them for. A lot of times if individuals are doing something, the bank will ask for a personal financial statement, which is basically a scorecard for individuals of assets you own, personal liabilities you have, what is your net worth. We hear that a lot throughout the year too.
Right. Yep.
And also individual clients may have a rental property that goes on their individual return. They don't have a separate business return, but there comes in the depreciation schedule on that property just like we do for the businesses. So those are just a few things that we do throughout the year for both businesses and individuals. It maybe gives you a little insight on what we're doing outside of tax season each year.
Yeah, because we are busy year round. We are here year round. When you call, we will answer.
Yes. Yep.
So we're not just here during tax season. I think that's the important thing to see is that as your CPA, we are here year round to help you, to support you, whether it be a business or for an individual, right?
Yes, we are here to help both throughout the year. And so hopefully that gives you a little insight on what's done outside of those few months in tax season and all the services that we can provide year-round.
Yeah. All right. So there you go. CPAs are open year-round. We're here for you, here to help you through the year because we're not just here in tax season. Do you have anything else to add, Jay, before we close out?
I just want to let everyone know that we're here to deal with any issues that come up. As you've heard today, there's a lot of different things going on, a lot of different things we can do, and we'd love to hear from you when you have any issues during the year.
Yeah, and obviously we're the CPA firm that you should reach out to. So that's what we think, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, that's all for the Accounting for You podcast today. We'll see you next time. Thank you for taking time today to listen to our podcast. We appreciate listeners like you and ask that if you enjoy what you hear, please like and subscribe to our channel to ensure you receive the latest episodes as soon as they come out. If you have any questions about the topic we discussed today or would like more information on becoming a client, please do not hesitate to contact our office by visiting arcpas.com or theaccountingpodcast.com.